This story happened when I was 12. That summer, my beloved grandmother passed away, and it was a significant blow for me. We had a very strong bond. She always called me Bimbo. I didn't handle her death well, as 12-year-olds typically don't. By Christmas, I had calmed down and no longer broke into hysterics, but I was still subdued. Christmas is a family holiday for us. I know it's not celebrated the same everywhere, but in our tradition, the whole family gathers together. We have a large family, and every year we gathered at Uncle Luke's simply because they had a big house. I wasn't the only child. Besides me, there were Ramona and Laura, Uncle Luke's daughters, and Guido, Aunt Letitia's son. We weren't close, living too far from each other, but we often gathered as a family and enjoyed playing together. That Christmas, there was almost no snow, making it somewhat dull. Too warm, too sunny for the holiday spirit. The table, as always, was filled with delicious food, but we, the kids, usually didn't stay at the table for long. Going outside to play didn't make sense this time, so we stayed in the living room, arguing about which game to play, until Guido suggested summoning spirits. He had heard somewhere about how it was trendy to summon spirits during Christmas and ask them questions. The idea was to write yes on one slip and no on another, take a saucer, call the spirit, and then ask questions. We didn't know about Ouija boards back then. There was no internet either. Besides, our country is quite superstitious and fortune tellers are in fact quite common. So nobody was surprised by this suggestion and everyone found it intriguing. We took 2 slips, wrote yes and no on them. Laura fetched a saucer, and there we were, sitting in a circle, ready to summon a spirit. First on the list was Dante, of course. We uttered the words and waited. The room got a bit colder. Guido's hands were on the saucer. We asked if the spirit was present, and suddenly, the saucer moved. I immediately realized that Guido was trying to scare the girls, so I started whispering menacingly that all the spirits had come for us and wouldn't leave without payment. It was fun at first. The girls were scared and Guido played along, but then they realized we were teasing them and got upset. Guido went to convince them that we didn't mean any harm. It was just a harmless prank. Meanwhile, I stayed with the saucer. I looked at it and said, "You must be tired of everyone summoning you, not letting you rest after death." Suddenly, the saucer started slowly moving towards yes. I felt scared. My hands were far from the saucer. No one else was around, and no one else could have moved it. It was so creepy that I jumped up and ran after the others. I tried to tell them, but of course they didn't believe me, and said it was time for me to grow up and stop telling tales. They complained to their parents, and my parents scolded me, saying nobody likes liars. Enough of jokes, they said. So, I was left alone with what I had seen, and no one believed me. I felt a cold presence around me, and it was terrifying. Spirits indeed could demand payment for being summoned, and I was the one who summoned. The night became even scarier, but luckily Guido slept in the same room with me, even though he didn't talk to me. Sometime past midnight, everything fell silent. Guido snored on the neighboring bed, and I couldn't sleep. I lay there waiting for what would happen next. I knew the spirit hadn't left whoever or whatever it was, and then I drifted into sleep. At some point, just at the edge of consciousness, I felt a cold sensation on my left leg. In my dream, my grandmother appeared saying, "Don't do that again. I chased away that spirit, but you shouldn't meddle here anymore." She patted my head and left. In the morning, I apologized to everyone and never told the real story again. No one would believe me anyway, and I never summoned spirits again. Who knows what I might encounter next time?